you being motivated is a trap. Because here's what I've come to learn through many trials and many errors and many tribulations throughout many years. Motivation without action won't get you anywhere, and action without consistency won't get you anywhere. So as much as you rely on motivation to take that first step, that motivation will fizzle out pretty quickly because you're not going to start to see any results. So the next question turns into, how can I remain consistent? And this is a question that's been asked for years and years and years and years, to the point where it's basically just a philosophical discussion. And I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers because I'm not 100% consistent in everything that I do. So how am I going to talk to you about that? But what I can tell you, right, is what has worked for me in developing new habits and being more consistent on a regular basis. It's a lot easier to get something done when there's some kind of reward at the end of the tunnel. In Lucky Charms, they follow that rainbow to get that pot of gold or that little pot of marshmallows. Honestly, I don't remember what's in the pot. But the fact of the matter is that you are willing to go to great lengths because you know what you're getting at the end of your journey. So give yourself some kind of reward. A lot of people, they talk about rise and grind. You gotta hustle hard. You gotta be waking up at 5 in the morning, drink nothing but black coffee for 8 hours straight, just stay fasted so that you can have your one meal of the day and then go to the gym 3 times. That's a little bit of a ridiculous example, but the point stands. It's like, yes, you know what you need to do to get to where you want to go, but are you rewarding yourself for doing the work that you should be doing? And if you're not rewarding yourself, then what kind of rewards can you put into place? How can you treat yourself? How can you just tell yourself that you're doing a good job, whether that be through taking short breaks, whether that be through doing things that you love doing, or maybe it's just like waking up and eating a bowl of Wheaties because you did the hard work the night before. Having that thing to look forward to the next day is oftentimes what it takes to do that thing the previous day. Yeah, the second thing for being more consistent is definitely a change in mindset. Your mindset will determine your reality. And I've said this before, but it bears repeating because when you decide that the world you live in operates a certain way, that becomes the truth. And you start to formulate your actions built around that truth. If you believe that going to college and getting a good job is the best way to secure a future for yourself, what you wake up and think about every single day, the actions that you take every single day, and the things that you prioritize on a daily basis will revolve around that truth. You know, and we see this all the time with people, and especially like with politics, is that people take a stance on something and they find evidence that backs up that specific stance. But imagine for a second that you truly believe that you're capable of doing great things. Once you choose that that is your new reality, then you can start taking action towards achieving that reality. The third thing I do to remain consistent towards achieving my goals is to decide that the person that I am has changed. And I know that might sound a little bit strange, but let me explain a little bit. So I want you to listen to these 2 hypothetical situations with 2 different hypothetical people. And I want you to tell me which person, which example you feel is more likely to resist temptation. Situation 1, you've had a long day, a ridiculously long day. Everything that could go wrong at work, it went wrong. You had terrible traffic on the way to work, you had terrible traffic on the way home, you went to the gym and had a terrible workout, and then you come back and you notice you got some leftover cake in your fridge. Now, you're trying to diet down, right? You're trying to lose some weight, and you know that cake is gonna do you no favors. So what you do is you tell yourself, I shouldn't eat this, right? This isn't part of my plan. I don't want to eat this. But what happens is you walk past that fridge 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times throughout the day, and you know that cake's in there and you feel it pulling you in, and eventually your willpower whittles down and you open that fridge, you eat that piece of cake, and you feel good about it for maybe 2-3 minutes, and then the regret settles in because you know that you went against something that you told yourself you wouldn't do. So in a sense, you've lied to yourself. And while this could be chalked up to you rewarding yourself and giving yourself a break, if this happens consistently, then you're not gonna make any progress towards your goals. Situation 2, person, terrible day, all right? Let's say an equally horrible day in every way imaginable. They open up the fridge, they see the leftover cake, their stomach starts to grumble and their mouth starts to water. They can basically taste the cake in their mouth already. And instead of saying, I shouldn't do this or I don't want to do this, they say, I don't do this. I'm not the kind of person who eats cake just because they had a long day. Now, by saying that you're not that person, by saying that you don't do this thing, you are literally shutting off that option in your head. It's not even something that you would consider anymore. You walk past the fridge 4 or 5 times, but you don't think about the cake. because the person that you are doesn't eat cake like that. It's not even a thought in your head. So talking about a shift in mindset, but more specifically, a shift in the way that you perceive yourself can really help with deterring certain habits and help forming new ones. If you're trying to learn how to play piano, for instance, instead of opening up your piano book and saying, oh, I should practice this, you say, I will practice this because I'm the kind of person who puts in practice every single day. So small things like that. Change the way that you talk to yourself, change the way that you speak to yourself, and change the way you speak about yourself, because that's also very important. Your words have a lot of meaning. I used to think it was so annoying and like so corny when my dad would say stuff like, oh, your words are powerful, or don't talk about yourself like that, or why don't you think about a new way to say that, right? But the longer I've lived, I hate to say it, he was right. But he was right about a lot of things. And I have a tough time admitting that to him in person because, it's like you tell someone that they're wrong their entire life and then you wake up one day and realize like, oh man, you know what? Maybe they knew more than they let on to. So it's a pride thing, right? One of my vices. But anyway, I hope that's a little bit helpful, right? If you struggle with being consistent, if you struggle with remaining motivated, then stop thinking about being motivated. Start thinking about how to be more consistent. Start thinking about how can I turn these daily actions into a routine. Think about how you can reward yourself in small ways so that you get excited about doing the work. Think about how you can change your mindset surrounding this new habit, and think about ways that you can change the way you talk to yourself and about yourself to others about this new thing. I think that if you combine these different things and put a spin on it that's unique to you, right? Because everyone's different. What works for me may not work for you. But if you take these as a starting point and go from there, then I really think you can start to see a lot of improvements. So, I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope you've gotten some value. Yeah, I hope you could take some time to just go outside, breathe some fresh air, just be out in nature for a little bit. Because this is one habit that honestly has slowly been changing my life. And it's something that I should have been doing a long time ago. With all that being said, that's all I really got for you today. I appreciate the time you took, and until next time, peace.